why do I need the Brain First protocol? Why do you need the Brain First protocol? What even is it? Well, it's something I teach. I teach that if you put the brain first, the body follows. Brain first is body freedom. So let's talk about that. A lot of people come to the chiropractor because they have back pain, headache, neck pain, and sciatica. Well, it's not as cut and dry as it sounds. Yes, come to me if you want to change how your nervous system is being impacted by the world and how is your nervous system perceiving everything. So if you've got back pain, neck pain, sciatica, and headaches, I want you to understand that it's a multi-layered response to stress. And if something isn't working, that's probably why you're going to call me up and say, I need a chiropractic adjustment. But I want to go beyond that. Chiropractic actually helps you maintain the great gift you have of the nervous system. Why wait until you have problems? It's harder to get back to balance. It does require some commitment, some time, and requires a new way of looking at your whole health picture. So let's talk about why do you need the Brain First protocol, because maybe we can simplify some of that. So are you doing well and you want to stay that way? Brain First protocol. If you're overwhelmed with health problems, definitely Brain First protocol. If you don't see the connection between your joint pain and your other health concerns, I call that the downstream dilemma. Brain First protocol is for you. If you're taking maintenance medications, but no one has offered you a plan to get off of those maintenance medications, the Brain First protocol is for you. And if you're not aware of the warning signs that your resilience is depleted, because the body does tolerate stress extremely well. I call that the calm before the collapse. So you are handling stress. You think you're doing a great job, but actually you aren't. But if you're not aware of the warning signs, Brain First protocol is for you. And if you'd like to experience a shift in your self-awareness so your talents don't go to waste, the Brain First protocol is for you. So what does that involve? We need to look at your nervous system. How is it perceiving your world? And is it over-responsive or under-responsive? Because over time, if you have a lot of patterns that are draining you and wearing you out and exhausting you, you need the Brain First protocol. So here's some examples. If you are in heightened fight or flight, often you have an overstimulated alarm system, and sometimes it's misinterpreting your stress and assuming everything needs to be in survival mode. Sometimes everyday things throw your brain into survival mode. And it's hard to recognize that sometimes because it's just an automatic part of your life. So what happens? You have a fast heartbeat. You have high blood pressure. You're going to have cold and clammy hands. You're going to be anxious. You're going to be hyperactive. You're going to have insomnia, very restless. You're going to have a lot of mineral loss. You may not notice that right away, but you're prone to fainting, perhaps. You're going to have bone loss. You're not going to feel that right away, but if it's going on for years, that's where the bone loss is coming from. Heightened fight or flight. Muscle loss, because your body's going to need more energy. It's going to steal it from your muscles, and you'll have atrophy. Your joints are going to be weak, and you're going to be injury prone. Your spine is compressed. Imagine the Tin Man. Remember the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz had trouble moving? Yeah, that is a compressed spine. Compressed spine definitely is fight or flight being overutilized. Panic attacks, another example. Fibromyalgia, if you're familiar with that word, that's fight or flight on overdrive. And post-traumatic stress disorder. Another part of the brain that we rely on every day is the vagus nerve. And when you do not have the ability to repair, you can't catch up. You're not in catch-up mode because you're so stressed out, your body can't repair itself. So you're going to have low stomach acid. Whole slew of problems occurs when that happens. You're going to have poor insulin management. There's going to be a lot of constipation and diarrhea, back and forth. Anemia, you might have fainting spells associated with the anemia. Gas and bloating. Oh, I skipped one. Anemia induced anxiety. So if you have low stomach acid and you're not able to make enough, get enough iron absorption, enough B12 absorption, that is going to be an anemia-induced anxiety. Gas and bloating, mentioned that. Lack of oxygen in your capillaries. They're the tiniest vessels. There's only room for one blood cell at a time. So that is going to lead to cramping, chest pain, arm pain, face pain, numbness and tingling, because there's not enough oxygenated blood in the tiniest vessels in your body. There's going to be hair loss. You're going to have thinning of the hair. Slow healing. That's noticeable as well. When the vagus nerve is not working, if it's asleep on the job, you're going to have dysfunctional detox. So you're going to have what they call lupus, Lyme's. You're going to be sensitive to molds and metals. There'll be a parasite issue because of all this toxic buildup, and sinus problems because the body's natural detoxification system is suspended because the vagus nerve is stifled. It's not getting the job done. And a lot of times, if your vagus nerve is really beat up, you've already had your gallbladder removed. And then there's low blood pressure. Now, the other part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, that becomes dampened. Does that make sense? The prefrontal cortex is kind of asleep on the job when you have all that fight or flight going on. And you're going to have loss of concentration. You're going to be impulsive, make poor decisions, because the prefrontal cortex, that's the thinking part of your brain. It's not the automatic fight or flight survival mode part of the brain. This is where you solve your problems. But if it's asleep on the job, that too is going to have lack of motivation, memory problems, depression, demoralization, a lot of social avoidance. A person is withdrawn, isolated. There's a lot of procrastination. There'll be a lot of addictions, especially to cans. I'm addicted to cans. What is that? CANS, caffeine, alcohol, nicotine, and sugar. There's other addictions as well, but these are the first ones to really consider. And then when your prefrontal cortex is working again, you can dive in and take care of the different addictions in your life. Relationship struggles. That is when the prefrontal cortex can't solve problems. Disorganized. And then the zombie walk. Similar to the Tin Man, but the zombie walk is just, can you picture the zombie? What? Who's the one in A Nightmare on Elm Street? Just there, but not moving, not putting any movement in a person's life. You don't have movement in your own life. You don't move forward in your life. That's a problem with the prefrontal cortex. Anger outbursts, and also diabetes and Alzheimer's on the extreme end, when the prefrontal cortex is shut down. Those are the extreme examples. So the Brain First protocol, we focus on how to help the brain stay in sync with the world. Things are going to happen. There's always going to be stress, but we have to be able to work with the stress, handle the stress, bounce back from the stress. And sometimes we need a little help. We have to learn how to move the brain, feed the brain, and talk to the brain. And that is on page 2. Thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, tell your friends, and let's get a discussion going. And when you're ready for chiropractic care, watch the orientation video and call up and get that appointment made. Again, thanks for watching.